Hello out there on Facebook and YouTube. It is Eric Tate alongside Nick Lacapo here for the Cool Box Live. Nick, how you doing this week?
Happy Valentine's Day, Eric.
Happy Valentine's Day, man.
Normally, I'm in Blackpool spending Valentine's Day with Sean Dunn and Brent Braun, but this year I'm with you.
You know what? I'm super glad you're spending Valentine's Day with me. It's always been a dream of mine to share Valentine's Day with you, and here we are spending it online, talking about magic tricks with some of our favorite people. We've got a great chat going on right now. Already, people are showing up. 90 Day Fiance over there on YouTube saying first. Dr. Don also joining us on Facebook. We got a celebrity in the Facebook chat. Benny Chickering is joining us.
All right.
John Green saying hello. And yeah, we got Kevin Lawrencell saying on Facebook saying Sunday nights, the night my wallet takes a hit. Marty Murphy over on Facebook, happy Valentine's Day to you guys. Peter Sobey joining us from Egypt on Facebook.
Whoa! Happy Valentine's Day, Marty Murphy over there. That's my aunt.
Is that your aunt?
Yep. There she is.
Oh, I thought you were joking with me. That's that's fantastic. It's a good show tonight, Nick. We had a wonderful lecture today with Chris Randall over in the Chris Randall was lecturing for us today. We have another celebrity in the chat today, Nick. Stephanie Braun is in the Facebook chat, and she says, "Aren't you glad you're not spending it with Brent Braun this year?"
Well, that's what we were just talking about. I mean, normally it's Sean Dunn and Brent Braun, and we're eating. What are we eating? We usually go to this terrible Italian restaurant in Blackpool, and I actually I dug out a picture today. I was debating on whether or not to post it on Facebook or not, but so far I've declined.
Well, it's always good to have you in the States, Nick, and not wandering abroad, sharing the good message of Penguin with the fine people of England.
Blackpool's Valentine's Day every year.
Is it really?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's whatever the however that works out. But yeah, second week in February. That's always when it is.
That's crazy. Well, Nick, we should talk about what we have going on the show tonight. We've got a whole bunch of really cool stuff. As always, we've got the big deals of the week up at the top of the show, and then we're going to close out the show with my top 3 picks of the week and Nick's top 3 picks of the week. If you have any questions in the chat, periodically during the show, we take breaks to address questions. Last week, we had some really great questions about hecklers, our go-to, like how we set up different sets and go about putting together our shows. We want to see those questions in the chat. We monitor that chat, and we want to find out more questions from you so that we can address those. But Nick, let's talk about the first deal of the week.
I mean, just keep in mind everything that we're going to do this tonight is every trick in the show is 25% off. Just head to penguinmagic.com and punch in the promo code CoolBoxLive when you're checking out, and you'll save 25% off anything that we talk about in tonight's show.
The first one that we're up talking about tonight is a doozy. This is, I know this is in my act. I'm pretty sure it's in yours. Black Door by our good friend Riccardo Berdini.
Yeah, where's Ricardo at? Should we message him?
Oh, we should message him. We should. You know what? We have a video to play where you and I go inside the box on the Black Door product, which is amazing. So why don't we message Ricardo while that video plays? Why don't you guys go ahead and take a quick look at Inside the Box with Black Door.
Hey, Nick Lacapo here with my buddy Eric Tate. We're here to talk about Mission Impossible by Brent Braun. Maybe the best card number ever? Yeah. Hey, Nick Lacapo here with my buddy Eric Tate, and we're here to talk about Black Door by Riccardo Berdini. What is Black Door? You've already seen some information on it. Black Door is a switching envelope. This allows you to switch one object for another, as long as it fits into this little black envelope.
It's quite simply the best switching envelope that I've ever played with. I think that you've ever played with. It's really, really cool. It works. The secret is really clever. You can actually hand it out to an audience member to open up, but unless they know the secret method of opening it up, they won't be able to get inside of the other secret chamber. And accessing that secret chamber is super easy to do for the magician.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about a device that's been used for a century at this point. You know, mentalists have been using these types of switching envelopes for a very long time, but you've never been able to there's old classic methods for this, but you've never really been able to hand the thing to the spectator, have them open it with 100% confidence. But now you can with Ricardo's design of the envelope.
Let's take a look inside at what you get, because you do get this really cool little packaging here that we have. That's it's got the P3 logo on the back and the logo on the front. And when it opens up, there are instructions printed at the top, but you get 2 of these envelopes, which are really nice. And the packaging is really nice too. I have a couple of these that I use in my show, and I use this envelope to store it in my case. This packaging to store the envelopes in my case so that these don't get bent or wrinkled. Or anything.
Same here. I definitely store mine inside of there.
Yeah, the envelopes themselves are very durable and will last lots and lots of performances. But
yeah, it's a very common question. How long do the envelopes last? I mean, they are made of paper. It's high quality paper. It's thicker than you probably, you know, what I don't know the actual like thickness of this, but it's, you know, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, it's
cardstock style stuff.
Yeah, it's not quite craft paper, but it's definitely in that realm where it's gonna work over and over and over again. I actually am still using my first set of black doors. So it's not. I think maybe one of them's got like a little bit of a tear, but it's not even. But it's been through hundreds of performances.
Certainly the body of the envelope, and we're speaking from experience here because we've used these a ton. The body stays perfectly fine. I've only found the only wear comes in on the flap. Right. I've just got a couple little tears there, but it hasn't stopped me from using the one. I probably had mine. When did this come out? 2017? Something like that? So these stand up really well.
The biggest problem that I've had with Black Door is that it becomes a go-to method for me over and over and over again.
No,
like,
that's so true.
There's so many tricks that I have where I'm like, oh, I'll just use Black Door. And before I realize it, my entire show is just Black Door envelopes, and I have to get more creative because it's such an easy solution.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah. So I'll show you guys like what it does because there's no, look, the instructional video comes with bunch of tricks, right? Ricardo, who's one of my favorite magicians, teaches you all sorts of stuff that you can do with the Black Door. But really, and it goes right to what Eric was saying about a show, you'll find solutions for this. This is just a tool, and once you have it, it becomes the solution to every problem that you're having in your show. But for example, let's just say I could show the envelope empty, so I'd show it to the camera there. Nothing inside the envelope, I'd show it to Eric. Anything in there?
Nothing at all.
Okay, great. I have this blank card. Ever seen one of these before?
No, never in my life have I seen a blank card.
Today, it's a big day for you. Okay. Look, this is just going to go in there. Is the only thing in there?
Very fair.
All right, here, hold on to that.
Okay.
Perfect. I'm going to have you think of a card while you're holding that. So I'm just going to riffle my thumb down the cards. You just say stop, we'll get you a card.
Stop.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay, great. Take a look at that card.
Gotcha.
Got it, remember it. I want you to start visualizing the ink printing on that blank card. So you can see the suit starting to print, the color, and then the value of the card.
Yep.
Can you see it?
Yep.
What card are you seeing?
9 of hearts.
Really?
Yeah.
Take a look. So notice how the spectator can open the envelope here, and they get the 9 hearts. And of course, you can show there's nothing else inside the envelope.
Yeah, I really can.
Right.
You know, I'm not. This is exactly the way a normal lay person would open it up.
Yeah, and
they would go in there.
There's no way. I mean, yes, they could open the other chamber, but you'd have to know that it ever even existed in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you really do have to know. So I can just pull this out. I happen to know the secret here, but you can see that the way I open that up, you could go back and rewind this video over and over again. Unless you could tell exactly what I was doing, you wouldn't know what to look for in opening up the second chamber.
And that's the beauty of these envelopes, because I did mention that there are methods for this in the past, but typically those are envelopes that you'd have to get rid of every performance if you were going to do something like this. Because this is using some magnets to seal things shut in here, you can actually hand these out. So unbelievable. I mean, I have used these, you know, it's probably the thing I've used the most of all the things that we've produced over the last, 5 years or something.
Yeah, it's just such an elegant solution to so many problems in Magic. Whether you're doing a witch hand routine or a bank night routine.
Oh, it's so good for bank night.
Switching, making things appear, making things vanish. There's all kinds of different uses for Black Door.
Yes, bank night. Check that out for sure. Get 5 of these. Oh man. Oh, it's too good.
No sliding things around. No secretly getting things in and out of envelopes. You just hand them out and go for it.
We've talked enough.
I think so.
Black Door. We'll see you guys next time.
Man, Nick, Black Door. What a really, really awesome product. And to get it for $10 off tonight, that's crazy.
Super good.
Yeah.
Super good. So happy to be able to get this this deal out there for you guys, because I'm not lying. Like I have that black door problem that we were talking about, where it really has become a solution to like any problem I have in my show. My brain instantly goes, "Oh, I'll just use black door." But you know, that's a good thing. But it's not a good thing if you've got 6 black door envelopes in your show.
Yeah, it really is an incredible little envelope that there's so much you can do with it. I remember when so actually on the podcast this week is the creator of Black Door, Riccardo Bernini. That came out Thursday. If you're not familiar with the Penguin Magic Podcast, you should go look it up. You just go into their favorite podcatching app, look up Penguin Magic Podcast, and Riccardo Bernini is this week's. And we talk a lot about how he started creating it, how he got involved with it, and how it came to Penguin. It's a really fascinating conversation. But I remember when we brought it to Magic Live, everybody wanted one. I mean, we sold out like first night. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a seller for a long, long time. I know a lot of the. I remember speaking of Blackpool. I remember last year, I think was the first time I had it at Blackpool, or maybe I didn't bring it. I can't quite remember, but I know other booths had it, which like never really. There's only a certain few tricks that I can think of that have like transcended Penguin into like other people's like we have to sell this. I think like Michael Murray was selling it because a lot of those like all those mentalists absolutely love it, and you would too if you picked it up. You can get it for cheaper. I mean, it really does. It kind of replaces like when I first started. I had like 6 thumb tips in my stand-up show, which is fine because nobody ever sees them. But Black Door is that same thing. That's the real versatility of it. You can use it for anything.
Yeah, it's super good. And, you get 2 envelopes that are really, really sturdy that last for quite some time. Again, you can hand this out to an audience. They'll never be able to figure out how to open it. I've handed it to audiences over and over and over again. It's so good. Yep. Normally it's $40, but if you enter the promo code CoolBoxLive at checkout, you're going to get it for $30. And that deal is good until this coming Friday at midnight. It comes with 2 gimmicked envelopes. That's something else that we should tell you is that this is this deal is $30, but you're getting 2 Black Door envelopes. So you're getting
$5 off each envelope.
Yeah, heck of a deal. There's the chat has taken on a mind of its own. Hungry says, I love the matching shirts and the unboxing videos. You two should do a double Penguin live lecture. Chemistry is great and both are great magicians. Dr. Dawn saying, I would watch that. Mr. McMahon saying the same. The YouTube chat has just gotten out of control. Mark, you put them back under control. It's super good. I don't really think there's anything else to say about Black Door other than that it's amazing.
No, if you don't have it, get it. You'll love it. You'll find a home for it. Ricardo's got all sorts of tricks on that on the video.
Yeah.
So you can start using it right away. But again, it's just going to end up in your actual show or something like I've used it to vanish a bill in a Bill and Lemon routine.
Yeah.
Like literally the vanish happens in the spectator's hands, which is great. I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff with it.
Yeah, I've used it to force a bill, which is kind of interesting because I've like handed the envelope out and said, "Hey, I want you to take a look at, make sure the envelope's empty, put a bill in it." Then I get it back and I go, "Oh, you know what? I want someone to read the serial number," and then I open it up and have someone else take the bill out so that I've never touched the bill. It's so good for so many things. It's really, really awesome. But
I'm reminded, but we'll move on. But this was just a funny thing because I had actually wrote a Bill and Lemon routine with Siri, where Siri's giving the instructions. And that's what was so great about the Black Door envelope, because she tells me to bring out the envelope, hand it to the spectator, so it's as if the spectator does all the work. They put the bill in the envelope and everything, and then the bill vanishes in the spectator's hands.
Oh, it's so good.
Amazing.
It's so good.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to the next thing tonight, which I think Stephanie Braun might know a little bit about. That is the trick that we are talking about, Position Impossible by Brent Braun. Nick and I actually had a chance to get in the studio and unbox one of these and take a look at it, and we got deep in and examined it. You guys are going to get to see a performance and a little bit of information about exactly what you're going to get. So why don't you take a look at this video we made when we go inside the box for Position Impossible.
Hey, Nick Locapo here with my buddy Eric Tate. We're here to talk about Position Impossible by Brent Braun. Maybe the best carded number ever?
Yeah, it's super amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it appeared on Penn and Teller Fool Us. It's been all over the internet. People love this trick.
People love card at number, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is probably the cleanest, easiest, and just most baffling way to do it. We're going to talk about what you get when you pick up Position Impossible and kind of step you through. We're not going to show you the exact method, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. So if you are interested in picking it up, hopefully you will, because it is really good.
The first thing to talk about is it comes in a nice box with instructions that are printed on the inside, so that when you open it up, there's a website you can go to and you can immediately access the instructions. And then, of course, there's a deck of cards inside, which is specially printed deck of cards that does all of the work for you.
Now, it will be open when you get it. It is specially printed, but the way that this had to be done, in the warehouse, we actually have to hand create this deck of cards. So don't freak out if your deck is opened. It has to be opened, okay? So it's already going to be open for you. I don't know if that cut's going to, it's a straight cut instead of the, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so you're going to get a pack of cards. And again, you don't need anything extra. You only need the deck. It's been printed by the United States Playing Card Company on bicycle stock. And what you're getting here is a deck that will allow you to, well, I guess let's just step through it.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to card at number, there's just so many, like we were saying before, there's so many methods and there's so many routines out there.
There's a huge variety of solutions, some of which are sleight of hand based, others memory based, some are stacks. There's a whole bunch of different stuff, but all of them have got a number of weaknesses that sort of point towards the method. And the really nice thing about this is how absolutely fair and clean it is.
Yeah, so let's talk number one. I'll spread this on the table here. Number one is that a lot of card at number routines use some sort of stack, or maybe a memorized deck, or just some sort of repeating pattern within the cards. Not here, okay? You can see that every card in the deck is different, and if you were to think of a card, you will see that card in this stack, right? You can also shuffle this deck. It has no bearing on the trick at all. You can give the deck a shuffle, and it's not gonna matter the order of the deck, which is pretty awesome. So, you can shuffle the deck before the routine. You can show the cards before the routine.
Yeah, one of the things that makes this so fooling to magicians is the fact that you can walk out, take the deck out of the box, shuffle it in front of them, and then proceed into the routine, because that's just something you don't see with a lot of card numbers.
Right. So you're going to have a card selected, and it's a very fair procedure, right, where you're going to have the spectator call stop.
Stop.
They're going to say stop. You're going to show them a card.
Yep.
Okay, and that's it. It's just this isn't like a timing force or anything like that. You can have them say, do you want me to go further, or whatever in the pack. Doesn't matter. So it is a selected card at number. It's not like a thought of card at number. Really doesn't matter because it's going to feel thought of by the end of the routine. Now what's crazy is the card that the spectator is thinking of when you spread this deck is at every number and not at every number at the same time. It's the only way I can put it.
Nick sounds like he's gone crazy right now, but believe me, once you get this and understand the instructions, everything he just said is going to make perfect sense to you.
Yeah, and because you are able to spread the cards on the table before the number is ever named. I mean, think of that. The person is just thinking of a card right now, and you make that point. I love this point when Brent's like, the deck is out of my hands, they're on the table, you're going to name a number, and the card that so-and-so is thinking of is just going to be at that number. I mean, that's wild, because there are no moves from here on out. I mean, there's no moves at all in this routine. It's basically a self-working deck of cards.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Name a number, Eric.
12.
12. Count down to the 12th card.
From here?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So you would isolate the card, right? And what's also great is because of the way this deck is designed, you're able to spread the cards on the table and ask, do you see your card there?
I genuinely don't.
No, because it's not there. And you're able to pick up the rest of these, and you can even show all of these cards. I mean, I can show them to you here, or I'll spread them out so you guys can see. Do you see your card there, Eric?
Nope.
Nope.
Genuinely don't.
For the first time, what was the name of your card?
The 2 of spades.
The 2 of what?
It's 2 of spades.
Well, it doesn't work every time, but today it did.
Oh,
The 2 of spades.
look at that.
Incredible.
That's super fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's impossibly fair.
It's impossibly fair. Yeah. Killer trick. Great way to do the carded number. Be great for like a TV spot.
Yep.
If you had to do one, because it's just bulletproof. You know, you can't really mess it up. The deck just does all the work for you.
I know a lot of people who walk in to negotiate a gig, and this is the only trick they bring in because they need something that packs very small but plays very big, and this is the one. It's got tons of power.
Carded number.
Position Impossible. Check it out.
Man, Position Impossible, what a phenomenal trick. I know you've done it for years. I've really, really liked it, and I love how much other people like it as well. I mean, it's a super popular card at number for a very good reason because of how clean and how powerful it is.
If you don't have this, get it, because it's just one of the best tricks that's come out in the last, when did this come out? I don't know, 15, 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It crushes. Also, Brent did it on Fool Us.
Yeah.
So if you want to see like a full performance from the creator, you can head on over to YouTube, search Brent Braun, Fool Us, and you'll find him doing this exact routine.
Yeah.
It's killer.
Super good. And right now you can get it for a couple of bucks cheaper because normally it's $40, but if you enter the promo code CoolBoxLive at checkout, you're going to get it for $30. It's a great deal on an amazing trick that you will do. You can make it play big the way Brent does on Fool Us, where he does it for a huge stage, or it's something you could do one-on-one for someone. And I wasn't kidding in that video when I said I know people who will go in to negotiate a gig where they're having that final meeting to like really nail it down. And Position Impossible is something that they'll walk in with because they know exactly how powerful it is. It's super, super good.
Skill levels, like, you just got to be able to handle a deck of cards. And by that, I mean shuffle it and, like, dribble it. It's really beginner level stuff with a professional, power level to it.
Yeah, Trounces over here on Facebook is saying any card at any number for beginners and the laugh cry emoji. But really, I mean, like the barrier for entry on skill level for Position Impossible is very low, which is a really, really good thing because it allows someone who's just getting new to Magic to understand exactly how powerful a trick it is, and you don't have to be some sort of like next level sleight of hand experts. It's super duper good.
So good.
Yep. Well, Nick, that brings us to our I think what we have here is the top three. This is when we do the top three right now, because I don't see a lot of questions in the chat right now for us, but we can definitely move on. If you have any questions in the chat that you'd like me and Nick to answer, I see Stephanie Braun is got you quoted here, Nick, on Facebook. If you don't have this, get this, Nick Lacapo, heart eye emojis. That's what I'm seeing right there.
Get it. Just get it. For sure. Yeah. There's nothing else to say. No. It's one of the best tricks, period.
Let's move on to my top three pick for the weeks. The first of my top three is number 3 is an exhibition of the extraordinary Seeing Fingertips with Luc Germain. This is a lot of fun. This is sort of like it's almost like a remote viewing, but not quite. You're able to define what cards are by looking away with just holding your fingertips. This is a bit of an older release. This is sort of a classic vintage Penguin release when Luc Germain was doing a lot of stuff with Penguin. You can actually see Alvo Stockman and Morgan Strebler in the video between us right now. This is really good. You get a DVD that explains everything from Luc Germain. It also comes with a special deck of cards that has everything you need to know about it. The DVD is very thorough. Luc is an excellent teacher. This is really well worth anyone's time. And the nice thing is, again, this is one of those tricks that you can do close up or make it play big on stage.
Yeah, it's not quite like, so I always love messing with these routines because this isn't a magic trick per se.
Yeah.
This is something like a display of skill. I mean, the plot that Luc is using here kind of goes back in time to some old 13 steps type of stuff.
Yeah.
The idea being that he can see colors with his fingertips, and just by touching the bottom of the card without actually looking at it, he's able to determine whether the card is red or black. So like what I mean is it's kind of like it can be presented various ways, but really what he's doing here is like a presentation of supernatural powers, or you could do it as like a display of skill almost, right? As if you could actually feel the colors. So it's got, if you've never played with this type of plot, it's just really fun to kind of dive in and try something new.
Yeah, it's really an interesting plot that I like, because it sort of lives in that. It's not quite an out of this world because you're the one who's doing it, but it is an interesting plot that is immediately engaging to your audience. When you're like, I can see color with my fingers, everybody wants to see you and understand what that is right there. It's a super good trick.
Yeah, it can kind of turn into one of those like do it again type of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the instructional video is robust on this. He does all sorts of different routines where you can, divine the colors and divide the suit and the value and all those things. If that sounds interesting to you, you won't be disappointed in an extraordinary exhibition of seeing with the fingertips.
We got a pretty solid shout out for it right here in the chat. Brent Braun is joining us on Facebook, and he said the trick is a fooler and a final phase is great. Brent Braun, I don't know. I think he's got an Instagram. He might
Happy Valentine's Day, Brent. It's been a full year.
Let's move on to my number 2 this week. You see, every week Nick and I get a big list of tricks that we have an opportunity to bring you a discount on, and every trick that Nick and I are talking about tonight is discounted 25% off when you enter the promo code CoolBoxLive at checkout. The Seeing with the Fingertips by Luc Tremay is normally $30, but you're going to get it for $22 and some change if you enter the promo code CoolBoxLive. Coming in at number 2 from the list that I had to choose from this week is Bentley by Chris Hannawell. Now, this is an interesting effect. So this actually, I sort of stepped away from Magic for a while, and I kind of came back to Magic because of Bentley. I have something of a history with metal bending. I actually I have a trophy downstairs on my mantle, 2nd place in a Magic competition from a metal bending act.
That was before the beard.
Long before the beard. Before the beard. And this one is, by the way, Nick, Brent says he misses you and sorry you aren't his date this year.
Yeah, I'm a little salty about it, but that's all right.
But Bentley, what Bentley is, this allows you to take a paperclip and hold it at your fingertips, and then the paperclip begins to unbend itself and then goes into an S shape. So, I mean, it literally opens up. You can see the video between us right now. Sorry, one of these days I'm going to learn this. You can see the video between us right now it's either on the left or the right. I can never tell. But the paperclip really opens up on its own. This is really cool because you do get props with this that allow you to do this. And when you look at this, the first thing you think about is, oh, is it memory wire? Is it one of those like self-bending, forks that's $150 or something? And it's not. This is an ordinary paperclip. You can pick it up in an office supply store. There are some things that you need to do to prepare it, but Chris Hannawell goes deep into this. I had stepped away from Magic, and this was my first foray back into Magic. I picked it up. I immediately fell in love with the trick, and I used to do it a lot. I used to carry these paper clips around with me. You get some props. If you run out of them, you can pick them up at any office supply store.
This is a really, really fun trick to carry around.
Yeah.
Especially if you've never done any metal bending, because there's nothing to it. You don't have to really do anything to do the actual animation of the paperclip. And I like that word animation of it as well, because it's, for some reason, we put the metal bending in the mentalism category. Like, I understand why it's there, but it also sometimes I think alienates some people from trying it. This can really be like almost as strong as a levitation effect.
Yeah.
Or like a haunted deck type effect, like a moving object, because yes, you could like bend the paperclip with your mind, but it's also moving on its own. So you could be giving life to it. Yeah. And it's easy. It's super easy. And the gimmicks that it uses, you can get, at Staples or wherever. So,
Trounces on YouTube is asking a really great question in the chat. Is it the same method as the Manny Lenenfeld one? It is not. It is very, very different. As a matter of fact, the closest thing I could describe it to is a long, long time ago, there was Morgan Strubler had a release called The Opener, and this is in the same vein as The Opener, but with The Opener, you had to walk up like you were in a very much more precarious position, and you couldn't hold the paperclip like right at the edge of your fingertips the way you can with Bentley.
Yeah, no, these are regular paperclips that you prepare, and then when you're done, you throw them away. Yeah. So, but I mean, you know how many paperclips come in a bag, so it's like it doesn't matter. You just prepare them, and that's it. There's a lot of great ways you can do it as well. I should also mention Chris Hannawell, who the creator works for Penguin. He's part of our customer support team. So if you ever had a question about it, if you picked it up, I mean, it'd be pretty easy to just jump on Ask Penguin, and you're most likely going to be talking to Chris. So.
Yeah. It's a great trick. I wholeheartedly endorse Bentley. I really like it. I'm glad that I know the method, because it's definitely one of those things that every time I'm in an off supply store, I'm always like looking at the paper clips and I'm like, maybe I should start doing that again. Let's move on. My top pick of the week. This should be no surprise to anyone. It's a card trick. This is Copycat by David Parr. This is the do as I do that fooled Penn and Teller. This is a really, really, really great routine. What you're getting here is the whole work that David Parr so I think David Parr was like in an accident, was like laid up in a hospital bed for quite some time. And
that's right. And
he decided to like really focus in on the do as I do plot as like a way of sort of like keeping his brain active.
Yeah, didn't he say that he had like a bell on his mantle or something? And he put it there because he wanted to use it in a trick, and while he was laid up, he's like, all right, damn it, I'm gonna do something with that bell.
Yeah. And it ended up as this. And so what you're getting is the full work on this, the thing that fooled Penn and Teller, the full routine with the bell. It's a really interesting do as I do. I was honestly a little surprised at the method, because it fooled me when it was on Penn and Teller as well. I mean, not that I know a lot about do as I do or anything like that, but it definitely, I was like, wait a minute, that's not how that is supposed to work. But this is really good. It's been a feature in the show for a long time, and it's solid trick.
The trick is a fooler, and if you've ever done that style presentation for an audience member, you know it kills. But the real gem in this whole thing, I mean, the trick is amazing. I'm not taking anything away from the trick, but it's getting to play. His presentation with the bell is just really smart, and the bell has nothing there's no magic in the bell. There's nothing that happens with the bell that you need. You don't need a bell to do the routine, but I highly recommend that you get one. Because if you're the type of person that's like trying to put together, scripts or like clever plots and ideas to go around, or bits of business to go around tricks, here's one that you can use right out of the box here, that when you watch the full performance of this, you'll be like, man, that looks like so much fun to use the bell in that way. I want to do that. And it just happens to be the perfect trick to use it for as well. So take a look at it. Head on to YouTube, watch the full performance of David, and then head back to Penguin and get this trick for 25% off.
Yeah, normally this is 20. Tonight you can get it for just under 15. It's a really, really phenomenal trick.
Oh man, $15?
Yeah, $15 for Copycat is a crazy good price. But that is it for me for my top three, and I don't see any questions in the chat right now. So Nick, I think we're going to scoot right on into your top three.
Sure.
Let's get to your first one, Nick. Tell us about Mojo 2.0.
Sure. My top three, number 3 this week, Mojo 2.0. It's pretty easy. I mean, I was able to get this on the list this week because, this is a higher priced item. So I was super excited to have you guys get it for 25% off. If you're not familiar with it, this is vanishing cup of coffee. So you show a cup of coffee, you take a sip of it, cover the top, snap your fingers, do your magic, whatever. And the coffee's gone, just totally gone. Not because you drank it, because it vanished, or it could transfer into whatever else you want. Like this is famously done by David Blaine way back in the day, with turning the coffee into pennies with the homeless guy way back then.
We should mention, because we talked about that the last time Mojo was on the show, the Mojo 2.0 is a different method than David Blaine is using, but you are going to be able to accomplish very, very similar effects to what David did.
Yeah. And the gimmick has been updated over the years as well. It's kind of like this really just simple and genius gimmick. You would think that when you're trying to reconstruct this, you're like, okay, well, the liquid's got to go somewhere, right, Eric?
Yeah.
What do I got? Like a tube up my sleeve, or where's that all?
It's better than that.
Yeah, it's way better than that. It's super low tech, actually.
John Hayes in the YouTube chat has a really good question. He says, any cup of coffee? And the answer is, any cup of coffee, but within reason. You are getting a gimmick that is going to work for a lot of different sizes of cups, but it's not, you know, obviously if the cup is way too big or way too small, it's not going to work. But I don't want to reveal the method on this because that's not what this show about. But most cups of coffee it'll work with.
Yeah, you're not gonna have any problem sizing it to something. It's super easy.
You can see in the video between us that so like Rick is doing it in like an ordinary like mug like he has around his house, and then I think that's Justin Flom is doing it with like a Starbucks cup, like a small Starbucks cup. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty versatile.
Yeah, absolutely, and it can change into things. It's just a great gimmick. It'd be a great video to do on your social media. But you can do it live. I mean, that's the real nice thing about this is that this is a gimmick that you can use in a show. I remember for a bit there when we were doing the shows on Tuesday night, Harlan got hooked on Mojo. Yeah, and he would come out every week. Like I want to say it was maybe 5 to 6 weeks in a row. Dan wrote like a new routine where he would come out with a cup of coffee or a cup of whatever. It doesn't have to be coffee. It can be hot, cold, anything. He'd come out with a drink and make the drink disappear every week. He did it like 6 weeks straight. Yeah. So it's fantastic. It'd be a great, like if you like, even like for you, Eric, like when you're sitting at your table doing your invisible 3-card monte, like those are those little bits of business that like you could put into your show and just you could have a cup of coffee on the table. You do 3 tricks, you take a sip and then make your coffee vanish on the off beat. Right. But this gimmick is a genius gimmick. John Kennedy's one of we don't talk about Kennedy enough. He's definitely one of the better like gimmick creators of our generation, you know? So
a lot of the stuff he creates is really practical. As a matter of fact, Magic Tricks TV is asking, is this practical? And then following it up with, can it be used for walk around? Now, I would say that it is very practical. I think you could use it for walk around, but there's some setup involved. So it's not an instant reset. I would use this
you could. You could, but I don't know. Do you really want to? Probably not.
I think that I would sort of, if I was going to do this in a walk around setting, what I would do is I would have it set up and I would save it for like, you know, the president of the company or something like that. Like this is one of those you want to like set it up and then like go do it like for someone special because it's not practical to do it repeatedly over and over. You could, but this lives in a different world.
Yeah, I guess the answer is you could do any trick walk around. Right? But I would not be doing this one walk around. It would just be too much of a pain in the butt.
So it's a fantastic trick. I've seen a couple of good questions in the chat that we'll get to after we get done with Nick's top 3. But Nick, is anything else you want to talk about Mojo other than the fact
Mojo,
that normally it's 60, but you're going to get it for under 45 tonight?
Yeah, it's a good deal. It's a good time to pick that up if you don't have one. You will do it. It could, again, just because you could just throw it on Instagram, you know, for fun, and at least you got one performance out of it, right? So
last question from John: is it hot or room temperature drink?
You probably don't. I mean, I wouldn't do it with hot. It's not going to matter. Yeah. But like, yeah, because you're going to take a sip of it, most likely to prove that it's real, or you might even want to have your spectator, like, you know, put their hand close to it to find out that it's hot. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I wouldn't, you know, you're not going to pour boiling liquid all over it, but I also wouldn't pour boiling liquid over any of my props. So
no, and it's not going to hurt the gimmick, by the way, whether it's hot. If maybe that's the answer to that question.
Let's move on to your next one tonight, Nick. Tell us about Die Cipher 2.
Sure. So again, when we get these lists, we get to pull whatever we want from them, and I chose this number 2 here for Die Cipher 2. Because it's just a great deal on a really, really fun gimmick. What this is a brass. You can choose brass. What's the other one, Eric?
I think it's stainless steel or brushed steel. I will double check while you were talking about it.
So it's a die that's made out of brass or whatever this other material is, and it also has a little like house that you can put the die in. The effect would be, you hand the die to your spectator, they can examine it. You hand the box to the spectator, they can examine it. They place the die in the box and remember whatever number is on the top, and they put the cap on top of the box. They take a look at it, make sure that nobody can see inside, and you're able to tell what number they're thinking of. So it's very much in the same vein as any of these cool electronic dice that are out right now, like
Like mental dice or mental die.
Like mental die or mental dice, which has been on this show. So if you're just new to
Multiple
the
times,
show,
yeah.
we give deals on stuff like this as well. So make sure you tune in every week. But this is a low-tech version of the same thing. And we really like it because it's like a really amazing prop to hand out because it's heavy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just quality. So when you hand it to somebody, it feels like just something they've never held before. And then the method's amazing on how you actually know what is in that die. Like I had no idea. There's no way to know. This is one of those secrets that it's impossible to know how it works until you're told how it works. I think if you were able to figure this out, I'd be very surprised.
I'm not sure I would want to perform magic for you if you could like figure this out. It's super good.
Yeah.
The other version of it, so it comes in brass and stainless steel. And I have always, we've talked about this before, and I've always said this, and I really feel very strongly about this. This is a trick that you leave like on your desk or on your mantle, and that people ask about that. So like, I know everyone at Penguin is like big fans of the Jerks blog, and something he talks about is like tricks that like make people ask about them. If I was still in a day job and like had a desk where I had like meetings with people, I would keep Die Cipher 2, the brass version, on my desk all the time, so that, because people would inevitably ask me about this knickknack, because it's just really, I mean, yes, it's great to hand out, but it's also a fascinating object that makes people ask about it. Like I can easily see this like anywhere because it's a very handsome prop. It's very, very well designed. It looks really nice. And people are just going to want to know, like, what is this weird metal dice that you have? It's so good.
And it's self-contained. Yeah. So you don't need anything else other than the die in the box. When the die is in the box, you are able to know what the number is on the top. That's the answer to how it works. How that's accomplished is a different story. But it's, a little higher price, but less than the electronic dice. Right. So if you've been trying to get into one of these types of tricks with a die, this might be one that you might want to look at, especially when you can get it for, what are we looking at?
Normally it's 80, but if you enter the promo code CoolBoxLive at checkout, it's gonna be for less than $60. It's a great price for a brass prop.
Yeah, it's something that you'll be proud to own because it's really well made, and you'll love the secret.
Yeah,
the
good.
secret blew me away when I first learned it. I was like, really? That's okay. All right. That's a little.
It's one of those things where you just like it's an engineering marvel, and I'm just like, A, the secret's amazing, but B, the fact that you could come up with a secret like that is even more amazing.
Yeah,
so good.
Really smart. Yeah, that one was above my head.
Nick, what's your number one pick this week?
Number one was easy. Saw it on the list, and if you don't have it, you need to get it. This is B-Wave. Or Wave. Sorry, Max.
No, it is not B-Wave. It is Wave, sir.
Wave by Max Maven. This is a fantastic trick. I think a lot of us are familiar with it. If you're not, essentially you show that your spectator that you have 4 cards. They're all face down. You tell them that they are the 4 queens. You have them name one, and they name a queen. Whatever they name, you spread the 4 cards. And the queen that they just named is face up in your packet of 4 cards. So that's trick number 1. Then you say, I knew you'd pick that queen, which is why I took this queen from a different deck. You turn over the face up queen and you reveal that it has a different colored back than the other 3 face down cards that you have. So there's trick number 2. And then you say, I was so sure that you'd choose the queen of whatever they picked. I didn't bring any other queens at all. And you turn over the other 3 cards and they're all blank or they're all jokers or whatever. They're anything but queens. It's it's just a modern classic at this point. Yeah. It's super strong. It can play as mentalism and it's easy to keep in your pocket. I mean, it's magic mentalism. What I love about the product that we put together here is, number 1, you'll get instructional video from Max, which is amazing because that up until this point didn't exist. If you bought Wave, sorry, Max. If you bought Wave, you're
just trying to start a magic war tonight, aren't you, Nick?
I know it. I can't help it. You would have gotten like paper instructions. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, people like to learn by video as well. So you get video from Max, but also I really wanted to, when we were putting this together, I was just like, it would be nice to just make this the last B-Wave package you ever bought? Because I think there's a lot
I'm sorry,
of us out
what
there.
what package, Nick?
The Wave package.
Okay,
that
thank you.
bought. You take another drink, Eric. We just wanted to make sure that you never had to buy it again. And because I think a lot of us out there probably have bought Wave multiple times throughout the years. So when you get this, it's going to come with not only the gimmicks for the queens, but the kings and the jacks. You'll get blank cards in both red and blue, and you'll get jokers in both red and blue. So however you want to put your Wave set together, you can do exactly just that. So this is a super valuable product.
Yeah, and normally it's $20, and then but if you enter the promo code CoolBoxLive at checkout, you're going to get it for under 15. That still includes all of the gimmicks, the video instruction with Max's latest handling, which is super good. I mean, learning it from Max Maven himself is amazing, but learning Max's current handling is phenomenal. It's a really, really great product. Like Nick said, really complete. There's nothing else really to add.
It'll be the last time you ever buy Wave, I promise. And if you are a fan of Twisted Sister, the John Bannon effect, there's enough gimmicks in this bag to do that effect as well, which is also available on Penguin if you want to check that out.
Well, Nick, we had a couple of other questions in the
Sure.
chat to address. Aside from this, John Hayes wants to know what's our favorite trick to do at a wedding.
Oh, well, I mean, the obvious elephant in the room there is the anniversary waltz.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I have my own thing with all that, but I guess really when I do weddings, it's kind of whatever I've been working on.
Yeah.
Because when I'm working the cocktail reception, I just bring 3 things really, and kind of just hit everybody over the head with that. So it's really flavor of the week for me. I don't have anything too scripted that I use for the guests at a wedding. But anniversary waltz, obviously, for the bride and groom.
Yeah, anniversary waltz is definitely something that comes up in my rotation. The other one for me is because a lot of times I'm working the cocktail hour at a wedding, I end up doing tiny plunger just all the time because A, it's super duper good, but B, depending on how long the cocktail hour goes and if I need to fill time, because sometimes I'm at a wedding and the catering is late or the bride and groom are off getting photos taken. If I need to stop and make a big spectacle out of something, tiny plunger is easily the way to go for me.
I mean, if I had to go do a wedding right now,
Yeah.
tomorrow, I'd be doing. Hopefully, I'd have my split focus routine down, but
Yeah.
most likely I'd be using my. I'd be opening with Colossal Killer, which I've been doing forever. Which I also have the Fire Wallet in there for a couple laughs, and then I'd be working right out of my wallet. So I would never be taking a deck of cards out or anything. I basically would start with Colossal Killer, bring my wallet out to do the reveal, put the card back, and then maybe go into Hundy 500 or the 1 in 5 transpo, something like that. If I needed to do another trick for the group, then the deck of cards would come out or the coin set or whatever. I've been really getting a lot of usage out of 3 Fly lately, so I'd probably do that. But yeah, most likely Colossal Killer, Fire Wallet, and Fire Wallet's great just for photo ops and stuff with the photographers that are roaming around.
I tell you, it just occurred to me, the last weddings that I did last year, I was doing. I was able to do a presentation with Flight 101, because I wasn't working with the bride and groom at this point. I was working with the guests, and the guests had all driven up because we were at a country club, so I knew they had their car keys on them, and we were able to talk about rings and stuff because it was right there at the wedding. So Flight 101 was where I went for me. And then I saw this chat, and then we can look at taking off here for the night. But the other question was, and I know this is very similar to the wedding conversation that you and I just had. But the other question from the chat was, what's your everyday carry, Nick?
Well, not really carrying much these days, but it's kind of, right now I've gotten to the point where I've practiced a few things enough that I'm starting to put them in my pockets, whenever I leave. One that I've been doing, and I did a bunch, is this guy.
Oh, charge card.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
This
a
is
great
really good.
trick.
But you guys will learn more about that in the upcoming weeks. I think.
What?
Yeah, maybe. Just,
okay. Are we
stay
teasing
tuned.
stuff? Are we teasing
Stay
stuff?
tuned on
Okay.
that. But no, I did do that the other day for somebody, and
Yeah.
it was felt good. I hadn't had, because I'm it's something you can do while you're not like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have anybody hold anything or sign anything or whatever. And then again, I just mentioned it, split focus, which I've been carrying around. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but my little FPS coin wallet that Brent Braun sent to me, right?
Very nice. Very fancy.
Very nice. Very nice. It's got a, so it can hold multiple coins, but it also is a production wallet so that you can produce like a Sharpie or something that shouldn't fit inside of it, which is really great. But the split focus coin is incredible. I got my autofocus to be looking for my face. So it's like everything
you got to draw a face on your split focus coins, Nick.
Yeah, it's going to be out of focus no matter what I do. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, killer little gaff. This is what I want to carry around. And then I also put the Oracle system in my pocket the other day. I'm not quite there on doing a reading yet, but there's only one way to do it, and that's to put it in your pocket.
Absolutely. I got to for my everyday carry. So I carry the Razor wallet with me everywhere. A, because it's just I don't carry cash anymore. But B, I've used it for a little bit of mentalism. You've sort of got me into that. But also I do some fun stuff with a driver's license that maybe we should put out soon. That's it's more of a visual thing. But then this is what lives in the back of my Razor wallet now. Is because of this show, I got back into carrying a $2 window. So I carry a $2 window all the time because I really genuinely love $2 window. It's so good.
Trick. Check out the Oracle system, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's a great trick.
This is the wallet it comes in.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's super nice, and the cards are great. I know it's out of stock right now. It'll come back in stock, and it is a tarot trick. And again, my head is going to mess all this up. Look, so it's the details in this thing. Ben clearly has done this a billion times.
Oh yeah.
But he went out, found a great looking wallet. It's nice. It's like it's vegan leather, just like the old Razor wallet over there.
Oh.
But also took the time with the tarot cards to recolor them, because it is a matching effect, right?
Oh,
so like,
nice.
Right. These are just like subtle things that make such a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So, he's like, basically one of the cards is red and one of them is yellow and blue. You would never know, even if you knew about tarot, you'd be like, oh, those just maybe look a little different or whatever. Anyway, fantastic routine, fantastic instruction, highly recommended. I keep talking its praises, and I know it's out of stock, but just stay tuned on Penguin Magic. It'll get back in stock soon. I think we just got that news.
Got another interesting question here. What's your go-to? What's your favorite thought of Cards Across? And I don't know if you have one off the top of my head, but I actually have one that I use pretty frequently. There's a great book that came out called The Card Magic of Edward G. Brown. And I think you can get it on Penguin Magic if it's still in stock. Let me see let's see, Edward G. Brown. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it is in stock. So the Card Magic of Edward G. Brown, you can go, I think maybe Josh can drop a link in the chat. It's a phenomenal book. It's really good. And Andy Gladwin did a little addendum to the book. So when you get it, you get the book, but then there's also like a little workbook as well with some of Andy's thoughts on it. And Edward G. Brown was a really, really wonderful magician, did some really fantastic stuff. And he has a Cards Across in there that I do in my stand-up act. And I've actually got a little bit of a variation because his is 2 thought of cards, and the version that I do involves 3 thought of cards. One of them is a signed card. That's kind of interesting. And it's a really, really interesting trick, and Andy did some work to refine the handling. I've refined the handling a little bit more, and it's a really neat thought of Cards Across that uses 10 cards. So it's a small packet thought of Cards Across too, and you get this really interesting layered multi-phase. But it's in the Card Magic of Edward G. Brown, which is available on penguinmagic.com. I highly recommend it. It's a good book, and it's a good Cards Across.
I'll give you one. This one's great. Nobody knows about this one. This one's underground.
Okay.
And it is available. I just checked.
Okay.
Because I was like, you know what? It's not going to be available. But I'm shocked that it is. It is Red Rover by Dan Harlan.
I did not know that was still in stock. Hungry actually mentioned it. I didn't want to ask it in there and guide you one way, but it's interesting because it was mentioned in the chat. It's someone really like.
Yeah. First of all, Eric, if you're on Penguin, type in Red Rover and you got to see this image.
Okay, hang on.
It's one of the all-time, ridiculous images.
I love this. This is like Dan made this, didn't he?
Yeah, Dan did
Yeah.
all that stuff back with like Royal Oil and stuff. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, it's
this
so
is
good.
10 cards. It is completely thought of out of the magician's hands. So the spectator's holding 10. They think of one of the cards. The card vanishes. They count 9 cards. And then you count 11 cards on the other side, and the thought of card is on the other side. Sounds like a miracle, and it's just one of those things where it just works. And like as the magician, you don't even know what card they're thinking of; it just ends up over there, right? And it's only $7.50.
That's nuts.
So I got to imagine there's not many of those.
Oh yeah.
Because we've talked about redoing this trick. This has come up in meetings over the years.
Yeah.
Because there's not even a video on this. But I promise you it's amazing. And the gimmick cards you'll get are great, because that's how it works. You're going to get some gimmick cards in the mail. But for $7.50, that's worth a thing. It probably comes with written instructions. I don't think it comes with a video.
Well, man, that's 2 great things you should check out: the Card Magic of Edward G. Brown and Red Rover. Start with Red Rover, then move up to Edward G. Brown. Nick, let's take a look at everything we talked about today. The deals of the week: Black Door by Riccardo Berdini, simply the best switching envelope you will ever lay your hands on. And Position Impossible by Brent Braun, the best carded number ever.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with that.
Why not?
Then my top 3 picks. Number 3 was Seeing with the Fingertips by Luc Germain, a really amazing eerie effect where you can tell colors and numbers and all kinds of things just with your fingers. Bentley by Chris Hannawell, a beautiful animation of a paperclip that is also practical. And of course, Copycat by David Parr. It's good enough to fool Penn and Teller. It's good enough to be in your show. Nick's top 3s were Mojo 2.0, Vanish a Cup of Coffee, right under your spectator's nose. Number 2, his Die Cipher 2, a beautiful object that people want to ask about. And it's a dice trick where you can know the number they picked and you don't even need to recharge it. And of course, Nick's number 1 pick was Wave, the legendary packet trick by Max Maven. Everything that we talked about in tonight's show on that schedule is 25% off if you enter the promo code CoolboxLive at checkout. That is going to be available all week up until Friday at midnight, and then we switch it over to prepare for the next week's show. Nick, I think there might be a couple of special deals if people pay attention to the Instagram too, isn't there?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm going to get Josh to put some stuff up on Instagram and Facebook stories this week. So keep an eye out as well.
And as always, if you listen to the Penguin Magic podcast, we have a featured download of the week in which Nick and I talk about a download, a different download that's available from Penguin Magic, and you can get a special discount code by listening to the podcast and get 25% off the trick that we talk about, in addition to interviews with all of your favorite magicians. Nick, anything else we have to say?
Everybody should be listening to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Inexcusable if anybody out there watching this show not listening to the podcast.
I mean, look, there's interviews from Chris Kenner, Lance Burton, Banachek. It's an insane thing. More people should listen to it. And be sure to share this video. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on, because the more people watch this show, the more we can get you guys awesome, cool deals.
Yep, we'll be back next week with some other amazing stuff. Eric and I are going to sit down and try to figure that out now.
All right. On behalf of everyone else at Penguin Magic, for Nick, myself, and thanks to Josh for watching the chat, we'll see you next time.